Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah. Jones, hey. Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.
All right. It's Friday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. I got so many shows around town that I'm getting my days. It's almost Friday. It's Thursday, 3 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Deville, your host of the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate Show. And today we're doing just that. We're going to talk about some credit that will look to help you create wealth through equity. That's right. Credit is vitally important when it comes to home ownership. You've got to have the place where you lie your head. You need to own that space. If this is your first time tuning in, I am Greg Deville, the host of the show. We've been doing radio now just almost 8 years this November, and what an awesome experience we have had. It has been wonderful. I'm the broker owner here at Deville Realty Group, live at 702.5 FM, and looking forward to giving you more great information to empower you where to get home ownership. It's going to start with you. It's going to start with your credit. It's very important that you take this opportunity and move forward and stop paying someone's mortgage, right? So I want to use the term, this is the term I want to use, evict your landlord. I want you to fire your landlord and take the opportunity to have your own piece of the American dream, which is home ownership. Now, I've helped countless numbers of families. I've lost count. But we want to continue doing what we're doing and empowering many of you to have home ownership. Landlords can increase the rent at every month if you're not in a lease. There is no rent cap. There is nothing in place that he cannot just wake up and decide to change the rent costs. If that's you today, my contact information, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, 702-349-0162. I want to hear from you as it relates to getting into real estate. Now, sometimes you're in a position that you own real estate, but maybe now you're having to sell the real estate. I've got a call recently from a young man who has equity in a home, but in order to pull the equity out of the home, you have to be at a certain position credit score-wise, such as a 660 or better. Now, with that being said, If you don't have a 660, but you got 200, 150, or 80,000 in your home, you cannot access those funds due to your FICO score not being where it should be. Now, it's called a home equity line of credit. You can use that money for whatever you will. But again, to get that money out of your home. Now, let me just recommend a couple ideas of what you can do once you get your credit where it needs to be and you already own a home. Because even though you own a home doesn't mean your credit is always right? It could be something, a forgetful payment. It could be something as, it got away from me, right? And you did not get a chance to make the payment. So now you have a 30-day notice. A couple of those within a year can hinder your ability to do a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Now, after you've exhausted all the avenues on getting some equity out of your home, and you can't do that. You've tried to do the refinance. You can't do that. The other alternative is to remain there and try to catch up, or sell the property, take the equity, and guess what? Come back within a year and purchase another home. So recently I've spoken with a gentleman who wants to take me up on the offer. We've sent him to every avenue to allow him to get that money that's tied up. We're talking like $165,000 that's tied up in the home. That if he could only get to it, he could pay some things and do some things. But the only way he's going to be able to get to it, the only way to do so is to have to sell the property. Now, understand, you got that one, you can get another one. But sometimes life has thrown us a curveball that we cannot afford, watch this, to make a payment on something. So now our credit begins to default, right? Now that the credit has defaulted, now our scores are likewise. Again, if you're going to do the home equity line of credit, it is required that you have at least a 660 or better. Now, many times you have to have at least 3 to 5 years, perhaps, of equity to have a sustainable amount of equity in that home. You will have had to own it at least 3 years or more, right? Now, I know people who do every year, they do a refinance or a HELOC. Get the property for whatever you want to do, whether it's home improvements, or what I've been able to show many is how to take those funds and get a larger property, or maybe downsize, letting your equity become your down payment. Now, you don't have to sell the home. You could very well take the opportunity, instead of selling the home, do the home equity line of credit, if that is an option. Now, again, there are some who don't have the option because the FICO isn't lender privy, right? They won't do it because you're not where they need you to be. So again, I'm going to be bringing on my guest, Mr. Ken, who's going to be talking to you. And I want to talk about some of the great ideas and the advantages of good credit. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. I see Ken is on standby with us. But again, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, the name you need to know right here in the Valley, Deville Realty Group. I've been in real estate over 40 years. Started out in construction, flipped properties, been working with investors. 2005, I went and got my real estate license, and now I'm a broker. Now I own the company. But my vision was to just help families get into creating wealth through equity, because you're doing it when you pay rent. You're building wealth. You're creating wealth. You're just doing it for someone else. And so now we have gotten information, because many don't have. So let's say the credit score is fine, because I can sell your home with a 560 credit score. If you have a 401k on your job, right? If you have that on your job, I can get you in at a 560, 580 with the 401k. Now somebody said, I didn't know I could buy a home with. Absolutely, without penalty as well. Keep that in mind. It's without penalty to use your 401k to purchase a home. Now, if you borrow that money for any other reason, such as buying a car or paying down debt for consolidation, there's a 10% up to 10% penalty, but not for purchasing a home. So why not take the opportunity to use your 401k to get into home ownership, and watch this, start creating wealth through equity. So every month you pay your mortgage, guess what? You're paying a little bit down on the principal. Now, you can pay a 30-year mortgage off in 15 years simply by increasing your payment every month. You can pay it off sooner without any prepayment penalty. So these are the advantages that Deville Realty wants to offer to you. And to make it happen, here's what you got to do. To make it happen, you want to reach out to me. My personal direct contact, 702-349-0162. Don't forget, every second Saturday of each month, from 8:30 until 3, we have the home buyer education. And I'll tell you, last month was phenomenal. We had probably, I think it was 52 is the number they gave me, participants in the home buyer education. Now remember, that certificate can entitle you up to $30,000. It's good for 1 year while you're working on that credit. So sign up, contact my front office, 702-349-0162. Register. You have to pre-register. Lunch is included. No children are allowed. I need you to focus in on what we're giving here at this course. It's a home buyer education approved by the Housing of Urban Development, which gives the grants. These monies are allocated for first-time buyers. Remember, if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years, I don't care that you've owned one in the past, but it's been longer than 3 years, you're a first-time home buyer. Isn't that great news? What does that mean, Deville? It means you can get a home with as little as 3.5% down. Whether you're going to use it for down payment, 3% towards closing costs. Do it with your 401k. Now, in order to qualify for these programs, I need you to have at least a 620. There are a couple programs that will just require a 620. Now, somebody told me recently they have a 600. I can't preach that because I haven't seen that. I haven't closed on those type of deals. I have closed on a low 620 with the grant funding program. But remember, 600 may be doable. I just haven't seen it. So I can't speak on it yet. But granted, if you got a 6 and we want to, I needed someone to go out and let's do this, right? I need you to contact me. Say, I got a 6. Contact me. Let's go with this program. I haven't used it as of yet. However, it is available. 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, the name you need to know, right here in the Valley, the largest black-owned real estate firm in the state of Nevada, and we are excited about that. We're excited to know we help countless, I can't even count anymore. That's why it's countless. Can't keep up. Numbers of families that we've helped. We don't even, I'm telling you, my team, we have 38 agents on my team. We are doing what we've been commissioned to do. This is our mission. And it is possible. We can do it. Now, I want to welcome to you this afternoon, Mr. Ken. And I'm going to tell you what, Ken and I met here recently, and I think we could have spoken for a couple of hours just because we had so much in common as it relates to credit and home ownership. So I understand many of you have credit challenges, but I want you to challenge your credit. You got some credit challenges, but I want you to challenge your credit. So it's bad. How bad is it? That's what you need to know. Is it repairable? Listen, can I be transparent for a moment? Back in 2015, I was not ready. In fact, I didn't have any trade lines. What does that mean? I didn't have any credit because I'm about cash and carry. If I can't cash it, I don't carry it. But that's not always good. You need some credit. You need to be able to have 2 or 3 credit cards. Not for the sake of just using them to have stuff, but to build your credit. Credit is valuable. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, Mr. Engineer, if you're Miss Engineer, if you want to bring, I'm sorry. My other studio is a Mr. I had to look over. Miss Engineer, if you will, I apologize. You should see how if looks could cut, I'm done. I'm bleeding out. Well, we want to welcome Ken. Good afternoon, Ken. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm excited. I'm glad to have you on the show. Man, look, you and I spoke, and we were talking about and what you do. And give us the name of your company. Give us a brief description of what it is that you do that my audience can glean in on what you're doing.
Well, the name of the company is, and first of all, before I get started, thank you for having me on your show.
Sure.
I am truly grateful for that. The name of the company is New Car FICO, and basically what we do is we help individuals, consumers, potential homeowners, potential car buyers, and things like that. We help them get their credit back on track so they can be able to understand that they could live a better life through lower interest rate.
There you go.
Okay, so there, and the way we tackle this situation, we do it in two ways. Well, the first way that's been done old school is called factual. You write a letter. This is not me. They put it into a system. People don't read them anymore. The bureaus do not read anything. It's put into a system called eOscar. eOscar then sends it to whoever you had a collection account with, and then they send it to someone else to determine if that in fact is your account, the collection charge off or whatever. So basically what we do is we take steps before we even send you to the bureau. The first thing we do is we make sure that you have the correct address.
Right.
If you got 3 and 4 addresses, it's a problem because some of those old collections can tie to the old address. So once we remove those old addresses and give you the one that you need, then you're on par. The second thing we do is we make sure you have the right name. If your name is Robert B. John, then we don't want on there Robert John D. and David Deville and Ken Deville and all these different names. You need one name on your address. And then what we do from there is we go look at your inquiries. Some people have 10, 20, 30, 40 inquiries because you went into a dealership to fill out an app and then they blasted you to everybody. Okay, so now you look up the next month, you got 40 inquiries. So what we do first is we go fix your name, your addresses, the phone numbers, the titles, and the inquiries, and we clean those up and get them off your credit report in 48 to 72 hours.
Okay. Listen. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I thought you were taking a pause. Go ahead.
So from there, what we do is we know that the 3 credit bureaus, they do not house any of your information, okay? That when they go to the J.C. Penney's and BMW, whoever you have the collection with, they then go to someone else to make sure that it's true. And basically what we do is we go in and freeze that. So when people are trying to make sure that that is yours, and if it's frozen, then the bureau has no choice to take it off. And we do this through AI. Ain't that the new word?
Okay, that is
artificial intelligence.
Yes, that's right.
So we're using AI, and we do a very good job. Sometimes things can come off in 30. We can get everything off. Sometimes we get them off in 60 days. There have been cases where we've gotten them off in 14 days. So we are here to serve the public and to assist the radio show and Mr. Deville on however he sees fit.
So to the listeners today, the advantage to good credit, you mentioned, is being able to get a better rate. Recently, I've been selling homes to families. I've had one whose credit was risky and they got a 9% interest rate. But in comparison to what they were paying rent, it actually worked out evenly for them to get the home because it balanced on what they were paying rent anyway. But now they understand they need to get the property, build some equity, and then get those things off their credit. So when they refinance it, they can get the normal 5 3/4, 6 1/4, whatever it might be. But they understood the value of getting in. Just get in. People say your foot in the door. No, get in there. You know, if your foot can get in, squeeze to the side. Suck in your gut, right? And let's get you in there, right? So very important. Help to increase your FICO score will get you mentioned cars. And I'm glad you mentioned these inquiries because, people, and they talk about this. So when you pull credit, they talk about the hard pull, right? They always talk about, well, is it a hard pull? But I'm always reminded when you're at Macy's and they got that little booth at the front when you walk in, if you apply for a credit card, we'll give you 20%. That's a hard pull. Hard pull. And they say, and they don't get the 20%, but they did the hard pull. But as soon as I say, as a realtor, I say, well, the lender's going to do a hard pull. Oh, no, I don't. But you didn't say that to Macy's.
Right. You didn't say that to Target.
Yeah, right.
Walmart.
Yeah, when we're trying to help you know where you are and define what you look like and where you need to improve. But I think what you mentioned are valuable assets. Those addresses. We are a few years ago. Someone I was talking to about it said, Deville, you got 3 different addresses. 4. I think I had 4 different addresses under my name. And so that's important. Now, when we talk about numbers, like something, can you tell what holds more numbers, like certain credit, like a credit card, you default, what is it, 10, 15 point.
Could be 50 to 100.
Could be 50 to 100.
Depending on the credit card.
So is there any way to define?
They say, and if I get this correct, in the Bible, God looks at all sins the same way. So your credit cards are looked all in, whether it's a Target or Walmart. The higher you go, the worse it gets. I mean, you let American Express go, you got problems, right? First of all, you'll never go back to them again. You pretty much never go back to anybody, even if you clean. I remember, for example, I helped a lady who had challenges on her credit, and we got her in tip-top shape, and then we put her through Honda to get her Honda Accord.
Okay.
At the last minute, after they approved it and the delivery was set up, they denied it. And the reason why they denied it is, even though we cleaned it up on the credit report, they had her back 22 years ago for a repo.
Oh.
So the credit was clean, but they don't forget about you.
Oh, wow.
Right? So credit cards are kind of the same way. You're supposed to keep them under 30%. You're not supposed to spend nothing that you can't pay back. There's tons of credit cards all over the world. We've cleaned up people and they couldn't get here and there, but we've got them new credit cards. But if you're trying to purchase a house and you come to us and say, hey, you helped us with this, can you help us get a car? We're going to turn you away. Because if you get a brand new car on your credit report trying to purchase a house, you just blew up your debt ratio.
That's exactly right. You cannot. In fact, we have the 10 commandment when it comes to purchasing a home. The 10 commandments simply says, do not buy a car, truck, or van unless you plan to live in it. Because if you find, I had a guy once, he financed a couch. We were in escrow due to close maybe 10 days. They went and bought a couch, and guess what? They're still renters today. And this happened 3 years ago. The couch killed it. And we always like to say, because you're approved to purchase a home, stay right there. Don't want for anything. Stand still. Don't want for anything. Don't inquire about it. Don't co-sign for anybody, because it's going to blow your chances of and worst thing you can do is just do an inquiry, can just throw it out of the water.
One inquiry. Because they're determining, why are you making inquiries on something when you're buying one of the most important things of your life?
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you tell your customers all the time, we're getting ready to put you through it. Don't even look at the internet to apply for something. Okay.
Right.
Then tie your hands up and blindfold yourself, right? Because you do one thing wrong, Mr. Deville will be calling you back saying that your debt ratio just fell out of whack, and the underwriter wants to know, where's the additional income to help make up for that debt ratio.
Exactly.
Yes,
Take the H off the computer. Take the letter H off the keypad. So you look for home. Don't look for, because people call me. You'd be surprised, Ken. People call me and say, hey, Deville, I want to take a, can you come show me this house? And I'm like, well, I didn't see your pre-approval letter. Oh, I didn't get it yet. Well, we can't go yet. Because we need to know. People come and tell me that they know they can approve, but when I go to the lender, one gentleman asked me about a house. I think it was at that time $485, and he says, "Well, I know because it's in my area. I can, but you pay rent. You don't know what you can afford till you speak to a lender." Spoke to the lender. He only got approved for $410, but he want to see a $485. So until you're approved, the lender needs to look at your credit. It's going to be a hard pull. It's going to be, in fact, for the 30 days. You can look at it 2 or 3 times because you're shopping for rates when it comes. So the lender doesn't mind if you're home shopping and you're trying to get the best rate. That's okay. Those inquiries will be seen, but it's home shopping, right?
Right.
So
they take that into consideration.
That's exactly.
If they see you on a Friday at Nissan and on Saturday at Honda and on Sunday at Mercedes-Benz, when you buy, you better be living in it.
There you go. At the end of the day, because you're not living in this house, or keep living in that town, that condo that you're in. Now, what we'd like to also, go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry. And the things that you do after you get them into the house, Mr. DeVille, they can get the car.
They say
They
it
can
again.
get they can get the kids a car.
That's it.
They can get the credit card. They
That's
can start charging.
Yeah, exactly.
But until then, don't you do one thing. You know how Mama told you, sit right there and don't you do nothing.
Yep.
Don't you do nothing.
Stay in the house till I get home.
Right.
So until you get the home, stay in the house till you get the home. My mama would say, stay in the house. And they didn't have rings. You better just stayed in the house, right? She come walking up the street early and see you outside. I told you to stay in the house. Now you're not coming out for 2 weeks.
And the advantages of owning your own home is limitless.
Oh my God!
You are now investing into your future.
There you go.
Rent, you're investing into someone else's dreams, properties, and the money you're spending, giving to them. They're buying more properties, putting more people in.
That's it.
You buy your home, you are depositing into your own savings account.
I tell people, as a landlord myself, when I want something new, I just look, how can I increase the rent to pay for it? I'm gonna buy something new. I'll increase the rent to pay for it. That's what it's been happening so many years, right? Is when there's no rent cap. Now in California, where I came from, I lived in Inglewood for many years. There's a rent cap. You could not exceed, I think it was 3% annual, right? That you could increase the rent. Well, but you were allowed. Here, there's no rent cap. You can go up $600. There was a man wanted to go up $1,000 on the rent for the lady who had been living there. He went up $1,000 a month. But at the end of the day, he wanted you out of the house. But these landlords who are, going up $200, $300, $400 after the end of the lease, many times they have refinanced the home, and now the mortgage payment has gone up by $200, $300, $400. Well, who would you tack it on to? I don't live there. You tack it on to the tenant. So I like to tell my clients and my viewers that, look, if you're going to take a moment and keep letting the landlord take advantage of you, you've got to make a call to Deville, 702-349-0162. Let's help you get out of what you're in. You're creating wealth for someone else. And 8 years, Ken, I've been right here on radio 3 days a week.
Preach.
8 years. I've been telling families, and a lot of them have caught on. Many has taken the advantage of coming to our home buyer education class that we offer every second Saturday of every month, unless it falls on a holiday. We have that class, and I'm telling you, we have a great number of families that come, get involved, take advantage of the certificate that is available up to $30,000. Now I'm saying even yesterday I was telling people, like, if I could sell you at home with no money down, would you buy it? They're like, absolutely. So what's standing in the way? Many times, Ken, the reason I brought you on is their credit. Many times it's just their credit. Go ahead. Right.
And in our community, we are always saying there's nobody there to help us. Everybody else get help and they family, but in our community, we never get help. Folks, you have a godly sin man that is sitting in front of you right now that can show you how to buy a home and change it. When you change your credit, you can change your life. Because credit helps you to, now when you walk into a dealership, you want to buy a car, they say, well, we got this. And you say, well, I'm looking for the no money down, no interest rate loan.
Right.
That's what credit do. It gets you bold. You put that S on your chest. When you're purchasing a house and you got good credit, now you go to Mr. Deville, he reads your credit, he sees you're powerful, and he gonna fight for you. You think he gonna try to put you into some high interest rate? No. This man is God's sin. Everybody needs to take, I'm not being paid for this promotion. Y'all need to listen to this man, what he has to say. Get to his home buying seminar, get educated, and let him show you how easy it is. Because buying a home with good credit is easy.
Absolutely. Now, I want to say to those with challenge credit, because as I aforementioned, challenge credit is just credit that hasn't been challenged.
Right.
Let's challenge that bad credit and see how good can we make it, right? Bought a home once, and I mean deplorable condition. But I challenge myself, man. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put marble around the fireplace. Guess what? I sold that home for more than any home in that community ever sold for. I challenge myself. I want to challenge people who your backyard is a balcony. That's your backyard. It's a balcony. I want to, and you've been working on the same job 10, 15 years. You'd be surprised how many years people I speak to and that have heard me on radio. If I've been on 8 years, some of them heard me 6 years and still haven't as of yet. And I say, contact us. It's never no, Ken. What I like to tell people, look, it's never no. It just may be not right now. You're going to get
Can
there.
I say something?
Go ahead.
And I'm sure some viewers on this have heard this story. A man and a child kept walking by this house every day, and the dog kept yelling. Finally, one day, the child said to the man, "Why does that dog keep yelling?" And the man said, "Because he has a nail in his foot." He said, "Well, why he don't take the nail out his foot, Grandpa?" He said, "I guess it don't hurt enough."
Oh, see?
So
And
my
that-
message is, if you really want a home,
Yeah.
let this man help you. Call in. If you need, I'm so sorry, Alexa, stop. If you have to call in and you want for us to look at your credit, call into the Deville Show. And what we'll do is we'll give you a free 30-minute consultation. We'll go over with you line item by line item, tell you the situation, tell you the truth of what you can do, and then we'll start to help you get this on track. So this incredible man, and behind every good man is a good woman. She might be in front, but they can help you as a couple get you into your house. I beg of you.
Absolutely. Again, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Team Deville. We're live on the radio. We've got Ken, the credit doctor. I mean, the guy is not, he was sharing some things with me yesterday, and I'm like, I got to get this brother before many to explain, because they hear me talking about it, but when they have you, Ken, it adds fire to what I'm already saying, right? You ever had a fire burning, it looks like it was kind of wilting, and you add some new coals, man, you like a new piece of wood, man. I'm telling you, it will enhance people's information, because information is power. Is that right? Knowledge is power, but many are allowing it to be dormant power. They've been hearing me, but they say, yeah, I know, but they forget. So our team is about continuing to follow up. The job is done in the follow-up, right? We want to continue to follow up with people.
Let me share something with y'all. Years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I went to the doctor, and certain things we didn't qualify for. So they had to run our credit, and we didn't qualify. So I said, you know what? This was a while back.
Yeah.
I put my credit back together. I qualify for a lot of things, and then I moved from Los Angeles out here. And I tell you, when you got good credit, they will bow down. They'll do whatever you say. People with good credit, you'll get respectfully. Yes. You get treated differently with good credit.
Yes.
When you walk into the bank, is how you doing? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. They know who you are, because with credit now you can then improve on certain things. Credit, if you want to start a business, you need good credit. Okay, so you want this, they want you to guarantor. If you guarantor, you got bad credit, even if you're co-signing for somebody, but never co-sign when you're getting ready to buy a house. But credit is an absolute must. And you guys, you have the number one broker to me in the world. This man is so knowledgeable, and listen, we're going to give you your flowers while you still living.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, man. You know, I really do. I believe what I'm doing is really an assignment. It's more than, somebody said, but you could be doing $1 million deals. I say I do $1 million deals. I just do 3 or 4 deals at a time, which create 2 million, right? So I'm helping. Yeah, I'm helping more than that one client, right? With radio,
absolutely.
Last week I got off the show, and I had 11 text messages because my phone is on mute, so I can't get the call. But when I got done, 11 people. And we're on Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And so when we continue to pour out, now some people hear it. And I know one lady, she said, you on the radio, and she says, and you would talk. She said, I really want to hear it. I turned it off. She said, but I turned it back on a few minutes later. You were still on the radio. She says, I need to listen to what this man's talking about. Guess what? She owns a home today.
Wow.
We made sense to her about what we're saying. Because for Deville Realty, it's not about the money. It's about the client. If we continue to make it about the client, we'll continue to be successful.
Right.
Because one client begets another client. So I can chase $1 million and be done. Or I can longevity-wise say, let me help individual who knows more individuals, which continues to flip and flip and flip, and it keeps going. Say, Greg Deville helped me get my home. Marquetta Deville, Team Deville, right? Help me get my home. So what happens? I got a guy today. I was just mentioning it earlier on the show. Well, he's trying to get some of the funds, some of the equity out of the home. But the problem, Ken, is their FICO scores. The lender is requiring you to have a 660 or better to do a HELOC, which means home equity line of credit. Many are short. They got a 610, they got a 630, but you have to have a 660 or better to get any of that equity, up to 80% of that equity, out of your home. So they're like, Deville, I got one guy, 160,000+ in equity. He said, Deville, if I could just access, it would help me pay down some debt that I have. If I could just, I said, contact the lender. Let them, okay, credit score doesn't work. Okay, too much DTI. A lot of factors. So I said, well, the next alternative is we're going to have to sell it. And once we sell it, here's what we got to do. We sell it, now we're going to get you that whole 160,000. Now what do you do with it? Pay down those big debts. Pay that car off. And put 60,000 to the side so you can use a down payment in 1 year from now. Give them a strategy on how. But the credit is a factor that people can't touch their assets, which is equity.
It's so the elephant in the room.
And we got to deal with the elephant in the room. We got to face he's sitting there in your face.
And he ain't going nowhere.
Well, not until we face it.
Right.
Not until we face it and we accept the fact. And you know, stop pointing the finger. That credit card got you in trouble because you can have it now and pay later. But when it came time to pay, something else came up, which made you have to pay over here and not over there. And now you took a 30-day late. That has resulted in a 90-day late. That is now 6 months behind. So what do? You can't catch up. So now you try to talk bankruptcy. Now, Ken, the other thing about the bankruptcy, people don't realize, even though you've gone bankrupt, you can still own a home again. 2 years after discharge, the judge will look at it, and if you've done what you're supposed to do, I've sold homes to people who've had bankruptcies to get another home, to get a fresh start. Now, on my way here, I stopped at the county recorder's office. So this week, in the last 45 days, there's been 2,400 pre-foreclosure notices.
Woo!
Just today, there were 4 notices recorded with the county recorder's office. So if you got if you got a notice of default, means you're behind more than 120 days on your mortgage, it will be sent down to the foreclosure department. The proceedings begin. They record it. And so when I leave my show today, I'm headed back to the county recorder's office to get a list of those, since they won't call me, or maybe they just haven't heard of me, but they're getting ready to hear from me. Right? I'm going to knock on your door and say, by the way, you got 150,000 equity in your home. If we sell it, you can have it. Or if the bank forecloses, you won't get anything.
And can I want you to repeat something, because there are some homeowners that are on this call and they're sitting there and they don't know what to do. They're at 60, they're at 90. Yeah. What is the time frame that now the mortgage company says you got to go?
So again, after 120 days, now during the 30, the 60, you're getting all these letters. The letters are coming, hey, can we work out something about maybe a reconveyance or a modification? So they're working with you. They're trying to help you file the notification to get the forbearance, get the modification. Not everyone's approved. Sometimes what people need to understand is when they look at a modification, means they're going to take that current default payment, possibly put it to the rear of the loan. But what they're looking for to qualify you for that is, have you been delinquent in the past? Is this a repeat of behavior, right? Because again, that's why they look at your credit. They look at your ability to pay. I tell people, no credit worse than bad credit.
Right.
At least bad credit, I know you don't pay. I know you pay late. You don't. No credit, I don't know what you might do. So to the man that, and you know how many days, you know, as the owner, you know if you 2 months, how many times have you not made the pay? They know. They may act as if, I don't remember how many. Yeah, you know you're 4 months behind. That's when the default notice has been served. After 30 days, it begins, your mortgage provider, your mortgage servicer begins sending you letters. They start calling you on the phone. But after 120 days of default, then you'll get a foreclosure notice. Hey, your file has been sent to foreclosure and we're beginning the process. They begin to give you options. What are your options? Well, you can qualify to get the forbearance or the modification, or you can go ahead and put the home up for sale and pay off your balance due to the mortgage. Anything above what you owe them is yours. The gentleman I spoke to said he only owed, I think, $280, but the house today is worth $560. But he only owes $280. So I said, well, that's equity. And guess how he's been hearing me? Right here on the radio, right? Educating so many people that, look, sell the home. Within a year, you're going to rent. You're going to pay down some debt. You're going to rent for a year. It's okay. And and people hear me talk about rent, talk against rental. I'm a landlord. I speak against it only when you've rented more than 3 years, Ken. You cannot be in a property longer than 3 years paying rent. Why do I say that? Because per the Federal Housing Administration, you can own a home again after 3 years. You're a first-time home buyer. Means you can get the grants that are available. Means you can get that 3.5% down payment that's available. And to the veterans who are listening, veterans, I know maybe you've owned a home in the past, right? But you defaulted or you short sold it or deed in lieu. Means you gave up the house. So now you can get reinstated for home purchase. VA can be used more than once. Let me simplify that. VA can be used more than once. Don't sell out.
That's a class by itself.
People don't realize you could use it 2 or 3 times. Let's say right now the FHA in Nevada, the state of Nevada, I think last I heard 680, 740. Your home you lost was a 200,000. Well, instead of being able to get to 720, you minus the 200, you're able to get up to 5. Because you got to, in this box of how much you can use. Now, again, it's based on how much you qualify. Your debt to income.
That's right.
Is going to do. And now, my VA buyers, Ken, watch this. I can get them with a low 560 credit score.
Because it's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed. That's it. And that's the power we give with radio and say, look, you got a guarantor. That's what VA is not a lender. They're a guarantor. They're just guaranteed. That's it. They're not a lender.
They're just putting their signature on it.
That's it. Because you did your time. Because you dedicated to your country. They say, they used to say $1 down. It's not even $1. It's not $1. It's zero. It's nothing.
They did it for me.
Listen, and you can attest to exactly what I'm saying. If you lost it before. Now, the other one, Ken, that many aren't aware of is that, let's say your grandmother and your grandfather was military, but your grandmother, he's passed on, but your grandmother's still receiving his benefits, right? She's still getting his Social Security. She's still getting his pension from the military. She can buy a house using his DD-214 as an heir. Right. That's right. And I've sold a number of those. People say, my grandfather was military. And my grandmother, and I say, go ask your grandmother, is she still getting his benefits? Then we can reinstate the DD-214. She can get a house based on her income. Right?
And let me add something. Absolutely. I want to say 2 things. One, if you're listening and you know someone, a family member that's in the military, maybe your dad or your mom was in the military, and you trying to figure out how to go to school right now, you can go to school for free.
See?
Okay, you can go to school right up under your military family for absolutely free. Full-time college, free. They just have to fill out the application. It gets approved. Now you're in college for free. You don't have to worry about those loans you got to pay back forever and all that. The second thing I want to say is if you have collections and you have collection companies calling you to pay that back, do not pay collections. Especially don't pay charge-offs. Because charge-offs mean that the company has already charged it off and got their money. So what they do is they take your account because they want more money, so they sell it to a collection agency for 50 cents on the dollar.
I had something.
Now they're calling you,
right.
And then they're going to collect off. So it's a never-ending thing. And the bureaus charge these companies $30 a month to report this negative item on your credit report. It's a money game.
It's a money game.
So we're going to teach you all this. Stop paying these collections. Tell them don't call you no more. Send all stuff by email. And they really need to produce a wet signature because you never were with them. So there's all sorts of stuff.
There you go. And again, we like to speak to that, but I love the fact that you're speaking to it because that's what you do. I talk about the wealth and equity because that's what I do. But the reasoning today for you being here was to disclose that information from a perspective of where you sit. Right? I see all the boards and the numbers. That's what you do. Right? With me, you see a bunch of keys. With me, you see a bunch of keys because that's what I do. I give keys away, right? After you do what you do. And that's why I want to collaborate with you because that's what you do. Oh, man, I'm telling you, 702-349-0162. You want to get with Ken, contact us. We're going to set it all up. We're going to have a class coming up in the next Monday, not this Monday, but the following. Ken's going to come over to the office and let's talk about some of the advantages to get you back on track. Even if you own a home today, you own a home, but you can't tap into the home equity line of credit. What happens there? What happens? Well, your credit FICO is too low. There's a requirement. Now, many people are getting, as I mentioned, getting notice of default. And the banks are foreclosing. So what's the best answer? The best answer is called a pre-foreclosure sale.
Right.
Now, when you get that, we sell the house. Guess what, Ken? I'm telling people, pay off your debt. You just got $180,000. Pay off that car. Pay down. Don't pay off the credit cards. Pay down the credit cards. Because you need that revolving.
Don't close them.
Don't close them.
Right.
Yeah, don't close them. Pay them down so that they're under a third, and continue to use them. Just gas, groceries, pay it off to keep that revolving.
Right. And one of the other things you're going to do when you are able to do that with this this young professional speaking of is now you can get a peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Okay.
Get rid of the house. If you have no choice, get $100. What can you do with $180,000? Pay down on your debt.
There you go.
We didn't say go buy jewelries and rims and all. Pay down on your debt. Let him even teach you how to place your money to maybe you can gain some money so you can wait to that period of time. So now you can get into a house. And then when you get into a house, you can start learning all the different avenues, cut your electricity bill down. Don't listen. I listen good. Don't even start speaking on that. Right? Don't get your house solared up, right?
Right. Because that's where I'm headed next. That's exactly. It's right here in front of me with my notes. There next is that that's solar. Right. So we're going to fire the landlord and we're going to fire the NV Energy so that we can utilize every benefit afforded to us. But starting with your credit, the elephant in the room, starting with your credit. You got to work on that so that the advantages, as Ken mentioned, you can go somewhere and proudly give your black card and have VIP service because you've taken the liberty of taking advantage of good credit. And I'll tell you, I love the fact I can travel and do what I want to do, just use my credit cards, pay it later. But the danger for those that don't have no control or let's say discipline with credit cards is you get yourself into trouble by wanting so much stuff.
That's right.
Oh, Michael Coors got so much of my black community money, and I'm telling who is Mike? Who is Mike? Mike has never done nothing. I haven't heard Mike give a Christmas drive. At least Nike comes back, gives to our community, right? But Michael hasn't given. Louis, those cats, man, they haven't given anything. But there are more black folks that wear Mike Michael Kors. Oh my goodness. You know, and Gucci down to the sock. You know, but they driving a nice vehicle, Range Rovers, and guess what? They pulling into an apartment building. That's what, you know. You look good, you smell good, you drive good, but your living is horrible. We've got to change the mindset of the people. That's why my shirt says a wealth mindset. I just had a wealth mindset conference with over 250 attendees in April. We do it every year, talking about the wealth mindset, how to get your mindset in line to your living. A wealth mindset is a life mindset. Your wealth mindset will create your life mindset. It will help you to another dimension. So we talked about the credit, getting that on track. We talked about now that your credit and Kent's got you where you need to be, I need you to get up to that 660 number, whatever department you're going in, whether it's buying, selling, or investing. Then you talk about getting out of that rental. And now let's talk for a moment about how solar. Man, Kent, I put it on my home. My bill is flat $200 a month. And somebody said, that sounds high. My summer bill is $750. So you tell me I can have a $200 bill for the next 25? Listen, sign me up.
And keep all the lights on.
It don't even matter. I don't get mad when I come on. You left these lights on all day? Don't you know that it runs my unnecessary? You know, now I'm so relaxed. My blood pressure's at 117 over 82. You know, I had a little boy blood pressure at 58 years old, you know. But I understand the valuable things in life, right? You shouldn't owe power bill as much as your weekly pay. Power bill, groceries, gas. That's why people don't want to stop working from home, because you save so much more in just gas, but you're eating more too. You got to be careful. You came out the house. When I saw you, you were a 9-10. You came out, you were 14, 16. Hips done spread, sitting in the chair all day. It's dangerous. It's dangerous with that, you know. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, look, the fellas done lost all their hops. They can't even jump on a curb.
Can't do, man. Look, fellas sitting at the computer now. Yep. All his grade kicking in because he's not getting no activity, no sunlight. He's pale. Light-skinned brothers are real light-skinned now. They work from home. I mean, no sunlight, nothing. I mean, just pale, for real, for real. I'm dark, but I looked at my upper thigh right here, my leg. I was light-skinned. I said, for real?
Let me say one thing. If there's anybody in here that likes to take vacations, like we don't go on vacations, we are family, you know, we just take a couple of days off, you know, we don't go to Hawaii. Let me tell you what good credit to do for you.
Ooh, come on,
once you get that good credit, you start getting them credit cards. You only want credit cards that have frequent flyer miles and rewards.
Yeah.
And then you use your credit card to purchase anything you need to, as long as you're paying it back. You accumulating them reward miles, them frequent flyer miles. So now you go to Hawaii for nothing.
There you go. Look, Ken,
and that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for good credit.
There you go. That's all good information. My engineer is throwing the finger at me right now.
Absolutely.
She told me, Deville, you got 1 minute to get out of here. So, Ken, I want to thank you, man. We're going to do it again. I'm going to have you come on to one of my other local stations as well.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
speak more to it. Again, Las Vegas, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to so many of you and discuss wealth building opportunities, creating wealth through equity. And again, Deville Realty Group, 702-349-0162. I would love to hear from you. You can text or call 702-349-0162. Find me on Facebook, on all the social media platforms at Greg Deville, and I look forward to talking to you next Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Until then, may God's best be yours. Take care.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You want to be a broker? You want to be broke?